Motown meets 80s techno pop. We are talking happy matrimony right here. I mean, just wedding bells chiming and the confetti flying all over the place. I mean, this song was one of the perfect records ever. Great dance beat. Absolutely infectious record. Freeway of Love by Aretha Franklin at number 2 on my fan. Boy, what a big comeback record for her. Her first number 1. Gosh, her last top 10 before this record on the pop charts, not on the R&B, but on Billboard's Hot 100, was back in 1973. And I hear the melody of that song in my head, but I can't place the title of it right offhand. Anyway, Freeway of Love by Aretha Franklin, produced by Narada Michael Walden. Narada Michael Walden. I believe I pronounced that right. He had this record out. I got it up on YouTube. It was in 1979. It was the first time I ever heard of Narada Michael Walden. And the song was called I'm Happy. I don't want to dance. Oh, well, the song is called I don't want nobody else to dance with you. Didn't make top 40, but boy, that was a fabulous dance record. That was back in the summer of 1979, but by the mid-80s, Walden was an in-demand producer. Clive Davis called Michael Walden. Narada Walden said, "Can you produce Aretha Franklin's Who's Suing Who?" And he started working with Aretha, and the chemistry clicked between the two. Freeway of Love was written by Narada Michael Walden and a guy named Jeffrey Cohen. Jeffrey Cohen wrote a lot of the verses of the song, and Michael Walden, he came up with the song on his piano in his living room. And he was going to put this, well, he recorded this, well, here's the deal about the song. He's going to put it on a solo album. And he recorded it, but he just never, well, he never put it out. And a couple of years later, when he was working on Aretha's album, a friend of his said, "You know that song that you made a couple of years ago, Freeway of Love, you might want to try that out with Aretha." And sure enough, Narada Michael Walden, he pulled the song out of the vault. He rewrote it to where he thought it would fit Aretha's style. And boy, she nailed it. But before he did that, he recorded a new demo of that song with a singer. Her name was Kitty Beethoven. And he recorded that demo so that Aretha could hear what the song would sound like. And she nailed the thing, as I've already said. She memorized it. She put her heart and soul, her incendiary vocals, fiery vocals, her heart and soul into this song. She had all the ad libs memorized as well. She was a trooper, perfect trooper. And Who's Suing Who was the follow up to that song. That was a huge hit for Aretha back in the fall of '85. And oh gosh, I gotta mention this. Clarence Clemens, You're a Friend of Mine. Does anybody remember that song? It was Clarence Clemens. Clarence Clemens played sax. Clarence Clemens of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band played the sax. He blared that sax. Professional. And he recorded his part at 9 a.m. in the morning at the recording session. By the way, appropriately enough, this record was recorded in Detroit, the epicenter of Motown, back in the 60s. Well, at least back in the mid-60s before Berry Gordy moved the operations to Los Angeles. But that's another story. And Your Friend of Mine, that was produced by Narada Michael Walden. That was Clarence Clemens and Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne's wife was in that video too. God, that was a lovely record. And that also was co-written with Jeffrey Cohen, Your Friend of Mine by Jackson Browne and Clarence Clemens. If you haven't heard the record, I highly suggest it. Got a great beat to it. Almost as infectious as Freeway of Love. Well, Aretha Franklin's Freeway of Love at number 2 on my fantasy playlist of August 10th, 1985.